Hey guys, welcome back to Clockwork Dandy Needles for another breakdown of To Your Eternity, episode number 5. This is the episode that my jaw was on the floor so hard, I had to get a little digger in to just pick my jaw back up and crane it back onto my face because I wasn't expecting that twist. And there's a few little twists this week that I want to discuss, but the big one was just wow. So much to say about it. Hello and welcome back to Clockwork Dandy Needles. Thank you for tuning in once again, my friends. Welcome back to the Pain Train family. I've missed you. We've got a fantastic episode to break down. Make sure you guys are subscribed. About 5 weeks, we've got the end of season review where I'll tell you my top 3 anime of the season. Will To Your Eternity be able to climb the ranks? Let's just say with twists like this week, it stands a good chance of at least moving. So it'll be good to see where it ends up in the grand scheme of things. But this is an anime that continues into winter. So I can't wait to continue through the cold season with you guys, breaking it down and spending some time with the Pain Train family that we are. So make sure you are tuned in for that. And I think as well, shortly after that, you have my forecast for winter of what anime is coming our way, what I'm watching and what I'll be breaking down. Obviously, To Your Eternity is already hammered into a slot. Can't take it out. That's definitely up there. That's continuing. But what will be joining it? What other animes am I looking forward to? And I already know one of them. I've just got to debate a little bit between the last slot. But let's get going because there's too much to talk about. Todo announces that her official title is actually a chair. Now, I'm not kink shaming anybody. Don't want to do some kink shaming, but Bon does do kink shaming at the end, which I'm very ashamed of him to be kink shaming. But I'm not going to lie. The idea of being a chair and earning a living, consider me interested. Tell me more. I'm listening. Fushi's outburst sadly destroys everything that Iris has been working for, and it ends up sadly relegated to the sock department, which doesn't sound so bad. I mean, hopefully they can finally find a matching pair with a whole team of people working on it. I do feel like I need to hire my own sock department because I bought a load of socks at one point because I felt like I had none and they've all vanished. I don't understand where they've gone, or I'll find one but I won't find the other, and it'll even be new pairs that I haven't worn. Legit don't understand what's going on over here. I need to hire my own team. But Todo, I believe, has a role to play, and the role is teaching Fushi about unrequited love. So love that you cannot return. I really hope that Fushi has been paying attention to this. We are learning about the idea of not being able to return love, but simply wanting to see the other person happy. The best for somebody, but you don't want to be with them, which is a difficult form of love sometimes for some people. But it is an admirable form of love that you want others to still be happy, and you don't want them to be hampered because you can't have them. That's the healthier way of doing it. There are different forms of love, and all I could think about this week was Plato, different types of love that there could be. Todo also teaches Fushi about spotting love. How can you start to realise that you're in love? What are the things that you love about Bon? It's still more teasing of poor Kohaku. The ending made me so, I don't know, irritated because Kohaku loves Fushi. We see this come to a climax this week. We're just going to jump lovers. We're going to go straight to marriage, apparently. Kohaku has to listen to Fushi talking about love. That might also perhaps make Kohaku think, I have a chance. Indirectly, maybe Fushi is leading Kohaku on, but will Fushi accept the marriage proposal? I still don't think Fushi understands enough about love, about marriage. So if it is agreed upon and he does actually say, yeah, sure, I will marry you, which I don't want to be the case. Hayase baby, but Fushi baby. That's exactly what Hayase wanted in the end. Maybe that is the case. Maybe Fushi does love Kohaku. I just don't see it yet. All I see is unrequited love. Maybe that is the point. Fushi, however, literally becomes a god this week, a miracle worker. We see him healing indirectly by giving them prosthetics, which it would give somebody their life back. It would allow them to do much more than not having a leg. But it does feel like it's rubbing up the church the wrong way because he perhaps is now becoming this false idol, maybe a demon. It is going to come to a head next week because it seems like we're about to have a bad episode. And we've had such a good episode. We've had 5 beautiful episodes, my friends. We've been completely blessed. We had one death that was major in episode 1. We had one this week as well, but can't call it a death because dead things don't actually walk around again. Unless you're a zombie, fake boobs. We've had some fantastic episodes. We've actually had a nice little patch of no bad things. Next week is the sad time. Next week we need to huddle together and Pain Train family once again because it looks like it's going to go wrong next week. Was very curious because Bon reacts and knows about the knockers incoming before Fushi even had a chance to react. So him saying, oh, your face gave it away. Did did it. Fushi heard that the knockers were coming, barely had a chance to respond as Bon react. He does talk to narrator later in the episode, but maybe he can hear him because he can hear the ghosts. So what's saying that he can't hear something supernatural like the narrator? Bon's roll call makes me so happy. I was so warm and fuzzy inside because he knew all of the names, he cared about every single person, and he cared about the missing person. He even says, "Are we all here?" The guy goes, "Yeah, sure we are." But then he goes, "No, wait, we are missing someone. You are wrong. Where is this person?" He loves his team. They love him. I love the intimate moments they share together. Raises morale, showing you that he is a very good leader. Fushi seems to be asked the impossible this week, setting him up on a pedestal to maybe fall really hard. It's sad because it resurfaces trauma, and when Fushi is scared and traumatized, Fushi turns into March, and March is the youngest form. It's that childlike state. He goes back into the most childish state that he can find, and he's terrified. I am so sad this week that we get to see him sad, how depressed it makes him. He wishes that he was dead because he wants to join them as well. I hate this. Whether the right choice now has been made to keep the big twist from Fushi, I don't know if that's the right thing just yet. The first little twist was Fushi becoming the dead. He's able to become the dead daughter who he literally sees for just a minute. We've been discussing what it takes for Fushi to be able to take on a form, whether there's a requirement or something for Fushi to be able to mimic someone. But it seems like it only really takes experience, negative or positive. It only takes a minute girl for Fushi to be able to preserve their image eternally. Let's talk about the huge twist, guys. Fushi is a literal god. There you go. Oh my god. Fushi. Oh my Fushi. Bring the dead back to life. This takes him out of the realm of being a normal person completely. She comes back. Whether it's because he takes on the form first and then creates a shell to put that form into, not quite sure. So if Fushi wanted to give the crab its body back, he would have to be the crab, then make form of a crab. Maybe the crab that he gave to Bon did come back to life. Kind of worms over there. Bon can definitely hear the narrator. He even calls the narrator up, pales up because he suddenly realizes he can call up the narrator, and he's like, whoa, I'm terrified. This is actually quite scary. I didn't mean it. Forgive me. I'm going to walk on by. Bon is now torn with the idea of telling Fushi, but he doesn't want to because realizes that Fushi would actually go. Right now, Fushi is the key to Bon becoming king. That is what he wants. He also doesn't quite know how Fushi would react because obviously he heard him state with March, "I want to die and join them." So if they all came back, Fushi would perhaps vanish, or he would stop his purpose. Would he stop hunting? How would Fushi even react if he found out? Bon decides for now to keep the truth from Fushi, and I don't know how I feel about this. I think it's wrong to be keeping it from Fushi, especially at the end where we see the teddy bear sequence, where it would just be nice to see March actually have a chance to play with a doll or grow up. That would be amazing, and be reunited with Perona. That would be insane. For now, he is keeping it to himself. If I have to, I'm just like the narrator. I want to be king, and this is what I'm going to do. We're both going to be using Fushi. Bon also realizes that Fushi wouldn't stay. I mean, why would he stay? He was captured by Bon. If they suddenly all came back to life with a heartbeat, you know that he would choose them over Bon, because at the moment, Bon is starting to rub up on Fushi a little bit. At the same time, you did capture him. You even admitted to yourself that you're using him. But I do also get a sinking feeling that Bon will die before he gets a chance to tell the truth. I don't know why. I've just got this feeling that he's going to take the secret to the grave, and it's going to take a little bit longer for Fushi to actually realise. If Fushi does realise, could have big implications on the plot. So whether it's too early to be learning something that big yet, maybe. Story that Kahaku brings out, which is ironic because I believe he wants Fushi to see it before he obviously does his marriage proposal. It is a story of shadows, and realising that if you turn in a different direction, have a new perspective, you might actually find something unexpected. Somebody who's been watching you in the shadows, loving you from the shadows, find comfort in the shadows. That is what I simplified it down to mean. Sometimes you might think you're on your own, but if you suddenly turn and look in a different direction, you'll notice that your shadow is always there. Somebody can love you or support you without you ever realizing. And sometimes I guess I get that with the channel, actually. I often will make videos, and some videos don't get responses or anything, and that's fair. But suddenly when you do, especially episode 1 for this season, you guys did actually make me tear up a little bit, because I had suddenly got people who I hadn't really spoken to for about a year, because obviously it's been a year between the two cores, touched because people were back. And I'm a really tiny anime channel. I'm a tiny channel. I can't even imagine if we're ever going to cross that 1K marker, which you need to really become official on YouTube. I think that's similar to what this story is trying to teach. And I also believe that Todo sees her own story within this as well because of how she feels about Bon and whether she is in the shadows watching and supporting Bon, but Bon obviously doesn't look in that direction or anything. Is Fushi going to see any of the irony? Because I think Kohaku also this week is missing the point. Fushi does make some progress in the idea of love. Fushi finally finds an item that he's just drawn to. I like this. I really like the idea of an item that means a lot to you. There's different types of love. You can like an item, love an item, but obviously different types of love mean different things. But love that makes you happy. Sometimes a pet can do that. Maybe something important like you receive an item from somebody, then it has meaning. The idea of comfort through the doll, I do get it. It's a different type of love. It's not the type of love that I think Bon wants him to experience, but it is still a step in the right direction. Kohaku, I do think as well, you need to accept Fushi for who Fushi is, because Fushi did state, I think, earlier in this season, he feels more attracted to being a man. He associates more as being a man because he spent such a big time of being a man. Sure, maybe he hasn't found the feminine side within him, but Kohaku needs to accept that's how Fushi wants to be seen right now. So Fushi at the moment wants to be seen as a man. He's only a female right now because Bon keeps forcing him to be a female because it looks better or something. But accepting people for who they feel comfortable with being. This anime is bringing forth real topics that we are discussing. It's a very good anime. It's an anime that does open up very big discussion. But Todo even furthers this by revealing that she's actually a girl called Iris. She fell in love with Bon. Obviously, to be in the army probably needed to be a boy or something, and that got Todo even closer to Bon. It would be nice to see how Bon would react to Iris being a girl. The anime is covering some really real topics this season. I'm really enjoying it. I do think it's a very different pace from the first season entirely. But Fushi definitely is making progress, and the book is definitely helping because Fushi say, I love this doll. This is my first proper love. I love an item. That's fine. But Bon has to be the person to break it to him that a lover actually has to be a human. I mean, this is where we technically kink shame a little bit because Bon technically kink shames the people who love dolls or love items over human beings. There are people like that in the world, and Bon, you shouldn't be kink shaming. Whatever makes somebody happy, if it's not harming others, it is fine. If it's not harming anybody and it makes you truly happy and it's not illegal, go for it. All I can see in this doll, I don't know if it was just me who could see it, can anyone else see this? The girl who ended up being resurrected, it's the doll. It looks identical to her, right? So I don't understand why Fushi can't see it, because Fushi was literally sent back to trauma state when the girl died. That image of her must be seared in his brain. Am I just the only person who sees the doll as replica of the girl who he thinks is dead? But it is sad, and I actually said quite out loud, it's sad that March really can't play with the doll. But then, Bon, thank you so much. Bon gives March the doll. That made me happy. That was priceless, seeing March being able to play with a new doll. Another person be able to see her and react as well. Besides Fushi, and Fushi can't see her, Bon can see her, and Bon gave her a doll. That must be amazing to somebody who perhaps can't be seen or spoken to. That must be quite terrifying in itself, that you're alone, and I don't think she can see other ghosts. Maybe she can see Fushi, but no one can see her. Unrequited love. She loves him, but he doesn't know that she's there. She's living in the shadow. There's so much going on, and I think that story is actually more ironic than I'm even making out. I called it. Let's talk about the end, guys. Kohaku asking Fushi to be his wife, and obviously that then goes down the path of Fushi giving birth to the next Hayase, which is a horrible image that I don't want to see. Oh, it's all going horribly wrong. I don't want this. And plus, Kohaku, you don't even see Fushi as how Fushi wants to be seen. And sure, maybe Fushi hasn't discovered themselves yet. Maybe Fushi is going to turn around and say, yep, I am a female. And then, yes, we will respect the wishes as we did in Moriarty the Patriot. The pronouns would change to respect that character's wishes. I don't think it's fair putting it all on Fushi right now when Fushi doesn't even understand what the idea of love is. Does Fushi understand what marriage is? You normally start as lovers. You normally date first. Obviously, there are a lot of different cultures and people skip this all the time anyway. We have even got arranged marriages and stuff. But Fushi doesn't understand enough. So I feel a little bit bad because I am worried that Fushi's going to accept without really, truly grasping what it is that he's getting into. So we will see next week. It's one hell of an episode. This episode has got the brain juices flowing. It's got me thinking about lots of things. It's covering so many topics. It's a very real anime, and I'm very happy that you are here with me and we get to talk about it together, and that makes me so happy. I also dyed my hair quickly before the video. That's why it's late, because my hair is back to blue again. So I am very happy right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed my little thoughts on this episode, me going through the bits and pieces I found interesting. I will see you guys again next week. I can't wait. Bye bye.